maybe.
This is the sluggo, slant and go.
Casey the Beef Cregan, Zach Locks Parker. If I do this right, I'll see your faces in just a minute.
Maybe this is the better way to go.
61 shows in, I'm still screwing it up. And guess what? The next 61 is going to be the same way. Hey, Beef, what's happening in Jersey? You're back in Jersey, right?
Yes, sir. We just got a tornado warning, so all bets are off here. It says to go into Mom's basement, which is exactly where I am. And so I think I'm safe. But otherwise, everybody else is on their own.
This whole show is a tornado warning. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Seriously, though, I hope things are okay. If you disappear or put your head between your legs, we'll understand.
We might go viral that way. So, like, fingers crossed.
It takes something special. Zach, what's happening over there in Georgia?
Not much. Another hot one down here. Doesn't feel like football weather yet. I'm sure you're feeling the same way over in Texas there, Marty. Yeah. I am looking forward to, if the tornado does come, Beef, if you take the computer with you into the bathroom and send a toilet broadcast from there, that'd be great.
As long as we don't hear the flushing.
That's right. Keep the lid down.
That will be the flushing of the show, probably. Kevin Harris checks in from Cope, South Carolina. He's watching Jeopardy. You're watching the wrong thing. It is Jeopardy, because we're going to probably be in Jeopardy after this show if we can be in the middle of a tornado. Kevron, appreciate you checking in.
Yeah, he's a big Jeopardy guy. So thanks for having us on as well, along with whoever's going to replace old Alex. So great to see you, Kevron. Thanks for checking in.
It changes by the week, I think.
Yeah.
So, hey, Zach, any talk about Clemson and Georgia in your neck of the woods?
A little bit here and there. The Georgia fans are not super confident. I would say they're going to build confidence over the next couple of days, to be my guess. Right now, they're just hoping to make it through this week of practice with no more injuries, like we've talked about before. But yeah, a lot of talk of our defense, their defense, which quarterback's really going to show up this weekend from which team. So we'll see. Like I said, I imagine they're going to build toward the game time.
And speaking of injuries, Casey, you're breaking a little news on the old Twitter machine I saw this afternoon.
I got it from somebody on this show that's not named. Oh no, that guy. That's not named Locks. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it, JP. Yeah, I saw that on the rumor mill. Now it is just a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, but it's just a rumor as of this point. Tyler Davis is ruled out of the game, starting defensive tackle for the Clemson Tigers. And there's also a legitimate rumor that Nolan Turner may also be out as well. I'm not going on record as saying what they may be out for or from, but those are the rumors that we're hearing, rumblings that we're hearing from our sources. Right, Marty?
Yes, from our sources. And speaking of those rumors, maybe JP could give us an update after when he comes on in a few minutes to talk Clemson, Georgia. I saw something about it on the internet other than your Twitter feed, Casey, or the Sidelines Clemson Twitter feed. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe JP can give us some additional information or clarifying. I haven't heard anything about it until this afternoon.
Quite honestly, I got it from Zach Lentz at allclemson.com. So, or a part of that Clemson SI. So that's where I got. I'm not trying to out him by any stretch of the imagination. He's getting information there. So he was my source on this. So JP works with Zach directly. So maybe he'll have a little something more on it as well.
And that worries me a little bit. Obviously, the defensive line was the strength, or is the strength of the Clemson team, if you ask me. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but they're deep, but Tyler Davis is a man-child in there and has been since the day he stepped on campus. So a little concerning, but we'll get to more of that when we talk to JP. Hey, Zach, how'd week 0 go for you?
I mean, did anything happen? What I miss? Wake me up. I don't know. I mean, honestly, y'all, I didn't tune in. Is that a bad thing? Were you excited about week 0?
I was so excited about week 0.
I felt like there were some people that were excited about week 0. I looked at the slate of games. I decided to play golf instead and spend my last full weekend outdoors and went and enjoyed that. And while I was playing golf, the barn burner that was the Big Ten noon matchup, Illinois versus Wisconsin, which Nebraska. I'm sorry, not
same difference. Wisconsin.
Same difference, yeah. But which was crazy to me that this was the marquee matchup of the day. I think too. I received, I think, 3 text messages. It was 9 to 9 at half. One I know directly came from Beef that said this game is the cure for insomnia. Another one is, why did I tune into this? And I think there was another one of, what exactly is going on here? Something like that. So, by the time I got home, got settled in, I think Alcorn State was on. What are we doing with week 0? Honestly, I actually looked it up because it just blew my mind. Like, is this a new thing? I thought it was, obviously like everything else, a made-for-TV event. Week 0, the first week 0 game was actually 1983 kickoff classic, where number 1 Nebraska defeated number 4 Penn State 44-6. So this has been going on for a long time.
Trivia question for you, Lux.
Go ahead.
Which one of the 3 panel members were at that game?
It wasn't I.
It wasn't me.
It's my first college football game.
Are you serious?
Giant Stadium kickoff classic. Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's back when week 0.
I had no idea who was even playing. So you just told me the 2 teams.
Well, if you look at it, I went online. I have a whole list. This is all the week 0 people of games.
That's it.
Well, it was a decent amount. But my point is, they haven't had a decent matchup. So the last time was number 8 Florida versus Miami in 2019. Then you go to 2017 was number 19 South Florida. 2004 was number 1 USC versus Virginia Tech. If we're going to have a week 0, let's put a decent game on, at least one, just one, guys. That's all I'm asking for. There was really nothing to look forward to. And the big thing was the over under. The line was 52.5, and I think they ended up scoring, was it 52 points? So people were, bettors were going crazy over that. But there was nothing worth watching in week 0. Was my point.
A couple of things. Casey, first, Zach has got strike one in this show. I saw paper. I saw paper and research that is not allowed. Strike one.
It was Wikipedia.
Oh, well, that's not really research.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
That certainly doesn't count as research. And number 2, it's the American way, right? Somebody wanted to start a week early, and they said it's kind of like in the elections when somebody wants to have their primary, the first primary, then somebody else goes up and somebody else moves theirs up, and eventually we're going to be playing college football in like May.
Yeah. If you get someone to watch it, it's all about the dollar, advertising. But it's just crazy. Just give me something.
Nebraska had 2 missed extra points. A dude field a punt in the end zone and try to throw a pass. I thought I was in the backyard at Mark Brockenfeld's house in the 7th grade. He was in the end zone, fielding a punt, throwing a pass. It was just horrible. They were just terrible. And I'm the first one to sign up for the fire Scott Frost, because what year 4, and they're still doing that crap. Everybody misses extra points from time to time, but not everybody feels a punt in the end zone, tries to throw a pass.
Yeah.
Just horrible.
I was so excited for that game, just the fact that college football was back, and it was just like I didn't care who was a part of it. Brett Bielema at Illinois, like, oh, okay, he's going to be a run and gun kind of guy again. His quarterback goes down within seconds. Here comes the Rutgers transfer, Sitkowski, Arthur Sitkowski, who has more interceptions, I think, than yards he threw for at Rutgers. And his first 12 plays, they just ran the ball. And I said, this is the Big Ten in a nutshell right here. They did not open the playbook at all. And finally, when they did for him, Illinois looked like a serviceable offense. I found myself turning on the Little League World Series to a blowout game over the Illinois-Nebraska game. I'm not even lying to you. Like, it would be spurts that I was watching commercials at the Little League game rather than turning it back to Illinois-Nebraska. I was so disappointed. And like so much excitement and then so much disappointment in the game. But you're right. And that kickoff classic is my last point. That kickoff classic back at Giant Stadium, they had marquee matchups, but they didn't have the TV contracts that they do today. Right. So, you had to put a number 1 ranked Notre Dame versus a number 3 ranked Syracuse. That's right. Syracuse was actually pretty good back in those days. Nebraska usually made that trip. Penn State was there a lot. Maryland back in the early 90s. Like I went into most of those games growing up, and they were great, but I had no idea what the heck was going on in the field.
And speaking of not knowing what's going on, Anthony Weeks thinks Locks is confused. He's got a Clemson hat and the SEC shirt that I don't think he's washed from last week.
Best of both worlds. I haven't taken it off.
Where's it to work? Like your favorite pair of jeans you wore to middle school for 6 straight weeks, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was horrible, and I just can't. We're spoiled, right? 3 Clemson guys. We're spoiled by what we see every Saturday, win or lose. We don't see guys fielding punts in the end zone and throwing passes out of that formation. If we did, that would be something to worry about. Hey, last week I was so fired up about the college football season starting, I forgot to even have us pick our playoff and championship teams. So, that's on me, old man syndrome. I got another flyer for the old folks home this week. So let's go back a little bit. And by the way, I got this Coleman University shirt on because I'm going to school you boys on our picks coming up in a few minutes after we talk to JP. But before we get to JP, let's talk about the college football playoff. I'm going to do it real quick. And it's chalkier than my skin, right? It's Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and I'm going to say Georgia. I think Oklahoma gets upset somewhere along the way and falls. I think we're going to have 2 SEC teams. And that's not a lot because in about 5 years, there's going to be 62 teams in the playoffs, and 23 of them are going to be SEC teams, but not Texas. Texas still will be waiting to come back. So those are my 4 playoff picks, and I'm going to take Ohio State over Alabama in the national championship. What you got, Locks?
I agree with you on part of that. Although I do have Oklahoma in, I think their schedule's pretty favorable, and they're pretty high-powered. Plus, they sort of have a defense. I mean, they really started to show last year, so I'm sure they're still growing. But I got Oklahoma in, I got Clemson in, and then I also have UGA and Bama.
Okay.
Who you got winning?
Who do I have winning? You go next, and then I'll decide. I'm still up in the air.
My picks aren't going to help anybody.
That's a good point.
I'm also picking Clemson, Alabama. I'm going Oklahoma and Oregon in the Pac-12. I don't know. Maybe I just feel empathy for the Pac-12. I think Oregon has the dogs this year to make a national run. I still think the Pac-12 doesn't have the clout to win a playoff game. I think you have Bama beating Oklahoma, Clemson beating Oregon, and then Bama beating Clemson in the national championship game.
Wow. So, Locks?
I mean, I think Oklahoma and Clemson are going to be undefeated, and Georgia and Bama are obviously each going to have 1 loss to get in. That's probably going to end up putting Clemson versus Bama, which I hate, and it's going to put Oklahoma versus Georgia. So Georgia's going to win and play with my heart Clemson, and Clemson will beat them again. What'd I say?
Last year you had Notre Dame and Clemson playing 12 times.
That was I thought it was a witty little
that almost worked out.
Came close to working out.
It almost did.
So who was your champion again, Locks? I'm confused.
I have Clemson win the whole thing.
Oh, nice. Well, we talked about this before the show. I've heard so many varying opinions about Ohio State and Clemson for that matter, and some on Alabama. There's a lot of unknowns because DJ's got 2 games under his belt. Alabama's quarterback has none. Ohio State has 1,000 quarterbacks with none. They don't have a college pass on their roster. But I think they're going to steamroll everybody, and by the time they get to the playoff time, they'll have plenty of experience. I don't know if it'll be 1 or 2, but
those receivers are sick, man.
They got receivers. They just look at their recruiting. I mean, and we saw them in the NIL. They all have brand new cars this week.
Ewers just signed a $1.7 million something or other for autographs.
And
Lord.
And I dropped out of school to take a job at the car wash. He dropped out of school to get $1.7 million.
Yeah.
I think he to
not play.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anthony Weeks says, who does Clemson trust to come in for Turner Davis? Great question, Anthony. We're going to have JP Priester on in a minute. I'll keep your question up as we talk about it. Yeah, it's amazing. We didn't think the NIL, speaking for myself, and I think you too, B, we didn't think it was going to turn out to be this. I knew some guys were going to get paid, but $1.7 million is
for a backup quarterback.
More than I was expecting. Crazy. All right, folks. JP Priester is going to join the show and talk about. Let's get him on and see what is his yard done first. We got to make sure There he is. Hey,
there
JP,
he is.
Is a grass cut?
I told you I was allowed to come out and play. I got all my chores done. I was allowed to come out and play today.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, JP. JP Priester from allclemson.com. Go read his stuff. It's where I get my rumors and facts from. So a lot of fun until I read the story today about Tyler Davis and perhaps Nolan Turner. We've discussed it a little bit here amongst ourselves. What do you know about the situation on those two for Clemson?
Yeah, I've been pretty busy today.
I could imagine.
My phone has not stopped blowing up. And it all started with a player you didn't even name, Justin Ross. I mean, there's all these rumors going around that he's got a broken foot, and I'm pretty sure it originated on some Georgia message board. I don't know where. And, I'm serious. I think that's where it started at. I think we had one of the Georgia media guys actually messaged one of the guys I work with this morning or early this afternoon, wanting to know if we'd heard anything about it. That was the first I'd heard about it, but I did see some. It started making the round. The later we got in the afternoon, the more I started seeing it making the rounds. But I think that one is all rumor. I don't think there's anything to that one. The other ones, though, I can't say that. I think this Tyler Davis thing's got some teeth to it. We were told that, the site found out this morning that, Tyler Davis is gonna be unavailable Saturday, from everything we can gather. He's tested positive, I guess, at some point in time. I was told he had COVID. I mean, outside of that, I don't know any of the specifics. But, Dabo Swinney meets with the media every Wednesday night. He met with the media tonight at 6 o'clock. And he was asked about it, but, he's not going to – he's going to do what Dabo Swinney does. We put out a list on Saturdays that, we'll let you know who's available then and who's unavailable, you'll know then. And outside any long-term injuries, that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to do it. That's how we're going to roll. So that right there tells you, in and of itself, Justin Ross doesn't have a broken foot. I would consider that a long-term injury, right?
Right.
Good point.
That's a great point. Way to read the tea leaves.
And the other one, as far as Nolan Turner, I know he's been banged up some. I think as of a few days ago, they were preparing as if he was not going to play. I think it's a good possibility he will play now, though. I think I was told he's questionable, but to me, that's a guy that if he can go, he's going to go. And just to give you an example of some coach speak, if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and check. I'm pretty sure somebody asked Brent Venables about Nolan Turner being ready to go this weekend and on Monday, and Venom's we're ready to go. So,
So we'll see.
This has been two teams that have been very much playing cat and mouse with each other as far as who's going to play, who's hurt, who's not going to play, the depth charts and stuff. So it's been kind of fun to watch from that perspective.
So we'll see if those rumors are true, maybe Saturday, maybe before, who knows. But Anthony Weeks has a question in the comments. Who does Clemson trust to come in for Turner and Davis? So who would replace those guys if they were unable to go on Saturday?
If Turner couldn't go, there's a lot of guys you could name. R.J. Mickens, Joseph Charleston. Those would be two guys at the top of the list. You might even see Makuba get a little bit of playing time if Turner couldn't go. I don't know how much, maybe some, but the injury, the one that concerns me more is Davis. Though he's the anchor of that defensive line. I mean, that he there's just no other way around that. He is the anchor of that group. He is the run stopper, and we all saw last year how that front struggled when he was hurt. Even when he was in there and wasn't 100%, it just was not the same defensive line as when he is fully healthy. His value to that defense just cannot be overstated. As far as who will play in his place, I'm gonna go out. Ruka Rojo is a guy, and Trey Williams. Those are the two guys I would, venture to say. And Trey Williams is a guy that we have heard a lot of good things about all throughout fall camp. And it's not just been from the coaches, we've heard players talking about him too, and how quickly he's picked things up, how good he's been. I expect to see him on the field early and often Saturday, assuming Davis is not playing. And I'm actually excited to see Root play, man. This is a guy, I've tooted this guy's horn for well over a year now. He's like Joseph Nagata. Can't stay healthy, man. He's got to stay healthy. But, raw unlike Nagata, he was raw when he got to Clemson. He's been coached up now. I think this guy's got some potential, is he Tyler Davis? Obviously not. But I think this guy can play. And I'm kind of anxious to see how he fares out there Saturday against this Georgia offense that is going to run it right at you.
No doubt. Casey, you got anything for JP?
Sure, I'll ask. I'll keep going on that question. With Georgia has been known to be a run-first offense. Now, we know that Clemson I know towards the end of last year they kind of passed it a little more with JT Daniels. They have a big question mark at wide receiver. Clemson's question mark, as far as I'm concerned, maybe it's just my opinion, is defensive back. I think Georgia's going to still have a rough time running the football against the front seven, regardless of Tyler Davis. Of course, you want him. How do you see this? How do you see them attacking Clemson?
I think they'll come out and try to establish the run. How much success they have, I don't know. We might even see Venables going with some, more three-man fronts than he otherwise would have. But I don't see Georgia, having tons of success running the ball. I mean, they're going to hit some plays, obviously. Zamir White and I forgot the other guy's name. Yeah, those are two really good running backs. And despite them maybe having to play a backup at center, that's a good offensive line. They're going to run the ball a little bit. But I think that's what they want to do, is come out and establish the run, at least at the very least make Clemson respect it, and then try to beat them over the top, on some play action, stuff like that. They're going to test that secondary. We saw it get beat over and over last year, and if I was on the opposing sideline, I'd be testing it early and often too.
John Chansey has a question here. Could we see some 3-3-5?
Yeah, that's why I was just saying we might see more three-man fronts than we otherwise would have. It just depends. I don't think we'll see a ton up with that big offensive line they got, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we see some of it. Especially in passing situations, Venables likes to run those nickel and dime looks out there.
Okay, JD Paul says 3-man front won't work. with a line like GJA, our linebackers aren't big enough to plug the gaps with a 3-man front.
Valid point. That's exactly what I was just saying. You know, you don't want to. I don't know how well it'll work against this offensive line.
No doubt.
If you rely on it too often.
But if there's anyone to trust, it's Venables, right? To kind of make those adjustments too.
I'd bet on him every time coming off that last game too. I don't think he's not a guy that sits back and harps on any loss or anything like that. But he hadn't forgot the last time they played, and he doesn't want to see that again. And those defensive players don't want to see that again either.
Well,
I'm expecting a very motivated Clemson defense Saturday.
I hope the get back coach is taking his vitamins and had his workout, because it sounds like he may need it on Saturday. All right, JP, we're gonna let you go and get some rest or get back to work, whichever you have to do. But first of all, before you do that, I wanted to ask you a question. How do you see Saturday playing out? I wasn't able, as you may have seen on seldomusereserve.com, I wasn't able to pick a side. If I had to pick in this game, it would be in the over-under realm. That's Zach Locke's Parker specialty, I call that. I would have taken the under if it got to 52 or 52.5, but it actually went the other way. And the last time I saw it, it was at 51, I believe. Yeah. So how do you see it playing out? In 28, I can see a 28-24 game, which, used to be a high-scoring affair when you and I were in school, but now it's a boring slugfest, 28-24. It's kind of how I see it playing out. How do you see it playing out Saturday?
I still take the under. I think it's going to be fairly lower scoring. I think you're going to see two teams, coming out, feeling each other out. It's the opener. No tune-up game, no cupcake on the schedule first. Probably a low scoring first half while they feel each other out. Then, maybe see some more explosive stuff in the second half, a little bit more scoring. But, yeah, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I'm not going to pick a winner yet, but I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be close, something in the 2017, 24-21 range, something like that. 3-4 point win for either team. I think it's going to be a low-scoring defensive battle, and whoever can, make one or two more plays is probably going to win the game, or whoever comes up with that big turnover.
I was going to say the team that makes the least mistakes typically wins those low-scoring games. Just ask Nebraska from last Saturday. Hey, Casey,
that's brutal to watch. Oh.
That was brutal.
We talked about that in the opening of the show. You all find out for college football, you turn that mess on and you go, okay, what's the ice skating channel? Let me check out something else. Zach or Casey, you got anything for JP before we let him go?
No, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for the insight. And I'm getting heat on Twitter and on my Sidelines account because I broke the Tyler Davis thing. So I said it was a rumor, but people are giving me crap saying, why did I even put it out there? I wasn't going to say I got it from Zach Lentz. I wasn't going to say that on Twitter. But
trust me, I've been taking that same crap all day.
JP,
they haven't put that out. You shouldn't be telling people that's my job.
Right, exactly. That is your job. Yep.
No doubt.
They went to Mark Ryan on ESPN Upstate to verify my tweet. Someone went to Mark, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, that is hilarious.
So Casey's going to have a blue check by his Twitter account. So, he said verify Twitter. That's all I heard. JP, we appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. I know you've been working hard. Plus, you got to come home and cut the grass. So
no rest for the weary.
We appreciate your time, man.
Michael, Craftsman all the way, brother.
There you go.
He does need one.
I appreciate it. I didn't even notice the comment there. Appreciate that, JP. Hey, get some rest or write another story, whatever you got to do. I'm sure we'll be in contact before Saturday, but I appreciate you coming on after a hard day's work and dealing with us three momos.
I'm fixing to talk to this kid. Remember this name, Lenora Sellers. 2023 quarterback. Remember that name.
Okay. I'm writing it down.
I went and watched him play Friday night, man, and that kid is something, man. I don't know why. If there's people in the South Carolina athletic department or on the football staff watching this, why in the world aren't you recruiting this kid, man?
Right.
Y'all got quarterback issues, and here this kid is in your backyard and nothing, zilch. Call this kid, man. He is the real deal.
Is that West Florence?
South Florence.
South Florence. Okay.
Okay. South Florence. And what's the name again?
Lenore Sellers. He's committed to Virginia right now, actually.
Well, that could change.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to him tonight. I have a better feeling about that.
All right, JP Priester, allclemson.com. Great stuff over there. I chimed in on Brad's story this morning. Enjoy the website, JP. Enjoy your work, and thank you so much for joining us for a few minutes tonight.
Anytime, fellas. All you got to do is ask, man. Sorry, I can't stick around.
No,
we will ask.
Go get paid. Go get paid.
No doubt. Thanks,
Usually
JP.
I like to comment with you. I can't do it tonight. I'll catch you next week. Appreciate it, fellas.
Have a good one. All right, JP Priester.
The best.
Sounds like he's had a long day.
It does.
But,
it's only Wednesday, y'all. He's still got some work to put in for this week, man.
And hopefully the rest of the week the news will be good. John Champsey chimes in with our first comment: Clemson 27, Georgia 17. Or not our first comment, our first prediction, 27-17. And I think we're going to get to that in just a minute in our picks, but I want to make sure we do everything on the agenda because last week I missed something kind of important. And that looks like it. Talk to JP Priester. We did that. Well, folks, you know what time it is now. It is time for the Dog and Pony Show. I don't think you could have done any worse if you tried.
Well, I take that as a victory.
These guys are doing research, so why should I? Beef, you stink the most.
A true believer in what they're doing in North Carolina. That's why I'm picking Virginia Tech, Tennessee.
I love Spencer Rattler.
I agree with Marty.
I don't like this.
Look, you smell it, the backdoor cover.
All right. I don't smell it yet, but I'll smell it in a few minutes when we make these picks because some of them are going to stink, I predict. Now, last year, all three picked the same games, and it was just kind of boring. It was, everybody, Alabama, Clemson. That's kind of how it went, right? But this year, we changed it up a little bit. We're going to do more of the sports pick style, and you can pick any game you want, or Casey can come up with a ridiculous parlay, which he might do in 3 minutes and 12 seconds when I stop talking. And we have 10,000. Let me share my screen. Boy, I'm a great producer. We have 10,000 Sluggo bucks to start with.
I thought it was 100,000, Marty. You missed it.
You need 100,000. Okay, there it is. There's our scoreboard, folks. And we have 10,000 Sluggo bucks to start with. We get to bet them as you want, as you will, as you care to. Casey said he wanted to bet $1 on a 12-team parlay, which he can do if he wants to do. But he'll be a loser if he does that. So who wants to start? Let's see. Casey, you came in last place last year, I believe. So let's let you start off. And what's your first pick, your first game of the year?
So I'm putting 1,000 Sluggo bucks.
Look out. Out of the box.
10% of his bankroll.
10%. Oh, wait, it gets worse. 10% of my bankroll on Rutgers minus 14.5 tomorrow night versus Temple.
I thought they played week 0, not week 1.
Rutgers minus 14.5 tomorrow versus Temple. Oh, yeah, I'm locked in. Are you? Rah.
I should have had the video, the sounder for Rutgers minus 14.5 is Casey's first pick. There's some home cooking.
Shiano, we trust, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if I think they'll win, but I'm not they're definitely covering 14.5.
Nice.
Wait a second. They're a 14.5 point underdog? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they're plus 14.
Sorry. Plus
Okay.
14.
First thing
And I can't bet it because they don't allow it in New Jersey.
Because it's in Jersey. Right.
I was wondering, how did Rutgers get to be a 14.5 point favorite?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Sorry, I wrote that down wrong. It's not this show if I don't.
I'd love to be Casey's bookie. All right, Zach Locks Parker, first bet.
I'm going to start in hot and heavy right here with the Clemson-Georgia game. debated bringing this up while JP was on, but I just got something on the text feed from a pretty reliable Georgia friend of mine. Ron Corson, director of sports medicine, tested positive for COVID today. He comes in contact with every person on the UGA football team daily.
Wow.
Take that with a grain of salt. So.
We are breaking news here on this show.
Came across the text. Stay tuned. Let's just say that. But that could be interesting.
I just thought it was going to be the three of us talking about football, but we're breaking news in this show.
Crazy. So I look back. I've locked in the over/under here at 51.5, and like Marty said earlier in the show, that's actually gone down to 51 since then. So I'm still stuck at 51.5. I was expecting it to actually go up myself, but either way, I just look back at the past 4 games. Georgia scored 24, 49, 45, 31. Clemson 28, 34, 45, 52. I'm putting 100 Sluggo bucks on the under. After all that research and listening to JP on the show, worked out perfect for me.
So Casey goes for 1,000. Zach goes for 100.
Yeah, because I'm really unsure of it. Honestly,
just wait. I'm just kidding.
I get a feeling the other 9,000 are coming up real shortly. All right, my first bet is Ohio State minus 13.5 minus. It's at 110. So, and I'm going to go for. What did I put down on this one? 100 on this one for me. Same reason as Zach. I'm not sure. We talked pre-show about I think Ohio State's going to be great. I realize their quarterback has no experience, but he's very good. And I think if he just gets it in the general zip code of those receivers, they're going to catch it. And I'm believing that Ohio State is going to come out and want to show the world how good they are and crush Minnesota in the opener. Because people are still talking about Ohio State from last year, even though they beat Clemson, only played 5 games, whatnot. 100 Sluggo bucks on Ohio State minus 13.5.
Ryan Day has no problem running the score up.
No doubt about that.
Nope.
Beef, pick number 2.
My second pick, I'm going with UCF over Boise State. UCF is a 5-point favorite, I believe, in this game from what ESPN had. I just trust Dylan Gabriel and Gus Malzahn. I don't know why I do. I just think that Boise's going to be a very good team this year, but I just think UCF wins by a touchdown, maybe 2. I'm putting 500 Sluggo bucks on UCF minus 5.
Okay, he's taking his Ritalin, and this time he's only out to.
There's a lot of cross-outs. I had more money on it.
I've never heard of someone say that they trust Gus Malzahn until just now. I mean,
at UCF.
Not even Mrs. Malzahn. This is one of the games in the rundown of the show. I had the thing where somebody else said, I heard this week again, Clemson and Georgia was irrelevant. Now the context is they're talking about the playoff, and either team can lose and make the playoff. But it's still so stupid to say that, right? The game means a lot to college football. You're supposed to be promoting college football. We don't want to see Nebraska and Illinois play. We want to see Clemson and Georgia. The guy I was listening to on the podcast that I now don't listen to anymore said that this game was the bigger game in his mind as far as the playoff goes. UCF in Boise. Give me a freaking break.
Wow.
You don't deserve my time to listen to your podcast. And it's a bigger podcast too. It's not 3 guys here like us talking. So they said he thought this could be have playoff implications, whereas Clemson, Georgia didn't. And this is, one of those arguments that's just really, in my mind, really stupid, right?
Yeah.
What happens if Clemson beats Georgia or Georgia beats Clemson by 40? That doesn't have playoff implications.
Doesn't help.
You don't know until the dang game is played. But you already downplayed it so you can talk up UCF and Boise State. It's crazy. But, okay, Casey, that's your second bet. UCF
500.
Minus 5 for 500. Locks, play number 2 for you.
Number 2, I'm going to the Big Ten. Indiana versus Iowa. Over under there is at 46, which shocked me being that low. But then I looked at all the Big Ten games that have happened so far, and that was pretty underwhelming. Their scores last year: Indiana 20-14, 27-35. Iowa 28-35, 26-41. Not exactly high-scoring contests. I felt like the over was in play, but after I look at it more, I think I'm going under here as well for 200 Sluggo bucks.
200 Sluggo bucks. And by the way, Chris Jackson chimes in, and that is a YouTube comment. Thank you, Chris. You are the second person to watch us on YouTube in a year and a half. I appreciate that. Under for 200 Sluggo bucks.
That's a good parlay for me. I may take that.
Casey just found his third pick. My second pick, NC State minus 18 versus USF. Hey, look, I think Jeff Scott may be in trouble. That team looked putrid last year. And Ray's little brother transferred, I believe. So now they have a new quarterback. They looked really, really bad last year. And long term, this may work out for Clemson, right? Because if Chad Morris failed as a head coach and Jeff Scott fails as a head coach, maybe Tony Elliott and Brent Venables don't go anywhere, and they decide to stay as assistants with Clemson. But I don't know about NC State. They usually schedule very weak in the non-conference and go 3-0 or 4-0, talk a lot of crap, and then get blasted in the ACC, at least by Clemson and some other teams in the ACC. I don't know how good they are, but I can't imagine them not being 18 points better than the last time I saw South Florida. I looked at South Florida's recruiting, and we did some recruiting over the summer talk. It was horrible, right? They didn't bring in any stuff. I mean, horrible is probably a bad word because I've got to think, on their level, but their level of recruiting. But it wasn't there. Nobody stood out. There's nobody said, "Oh, that guy can come in and really change that program around." There was none of those. So I think Jeff Scott may be in trouble by the end of the season. So my second pick is NC State minus 18 over South Florida. And I'm getting a little scared here because I've given 13.5 and 18 points in my first two picks. And Casey's taking an underdog in his first pick, so I am a little worried here. Casey, who you got for your third and final pick of the week?
We've been doing this too long together, I think, Marty. I saw NC State at 18.5 when you sent me the link earlier today. It doesn't matter. It's either 18, whatever you got it at 18. We'll take it at 18. I'm taking NC State as well. They're hoping for a healthy Devin Leary at quarterback. He was having a heck of a year last year in that COVID-shortened year before he took a devastating injury. They're hoping he's back at NC State. Yeah, same thing for Jeff Scott. Just to expound a little bit on what you said earlier, if the Jeff Scott experiment doesn't work at USF and Tony Elliott happens to take one of these jobs that he's always linked to, maybe Jeff Scott comes back and takes the OC job at Clemson. So keep the momentum going. But anyway, I'm putting 500 Sluggo bucks. That's 2,000 for my three bets. 2,000, 20% of my kitty. I'm going big week one.
Big math guy.
Sluggo bucks on NC State.
Yes, these very important Sluggo bucks. Okay, a couple things here. I forgot to say it, but I'm putting 200 on NC State. That's my bigger bet of the week. I still got one to go, but 200, that's how confident I am or unconfident in University of South Florida. But, Casey, here's the bad news. You have to lock it in. I saw it at 18 and locked it in. You did not. You said it was 18.5. You get 18.5. Commissioner has spoken. 18.5 for Casey. Zach Locks Parker, your third and final bet of the week.
Yeah, looked round and around in circles for this one. Had to stay true to my heart and go with LSU. 3-point favorites. Going to cream UCLA. I don't care if they've been displaced to Houston because of this hurricane. It doesn't matter. They have more talent. They've had better recruiting, and they got Coach O. Just go crush Chip Kelly's dreams. I don't care if he won last week versus Hawaii. That doesn't even count. They're going to go out there and mow them down. The 3-point line is pretty weak to me, I think. So gotta go some SEC love in here for me. You know that.
How many bucks?
5 honey.
Ooh, guys are going big on the first week. I am not so brave. I can't be that brave. All right, my third and final pick of the night. UNC -5.5 against Virginia Tech. Struggled with this one because I didn't want to pick UNC. And,
Principle.
but I looked at I don't understand the line, and I just don't understand. This is a top 10 team playing Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
it's Sam the Howitzer Howell versus I don't even know Virginia Tech's quarterback.
Braxton Bowmeister.
See,
like that.
Sam Howell against some guy named Braxton. How good can that be for Virginia Tech? Yeah, it's in Blacksburg, but is that what it used to be? Would Clemson be scared to walk in there in Blacksburg? No way. But I'm not very sure of this, so only 100 sluggo bucks on this one for me. So I've only got 400 out this week. Beef has 1,000.
2,000.
2,000. Sorry, I was thinking about that. Still thinking about that one crazy bet. 2,000, and Locks has 800. Okay, let me go over these real quick just to make sure. Casey, Rutgers plus 14.5 for 1,000 sluggo bucks. Central Florida -5 for 500 sluggo bucks, and NC State -18.5 for 500 sluggo bucks. Zach, Locks Parker, Clemson, Georgia, under 51.5 for 100 sluggo bucks. Indiana and Iowa, under 46 for 200 sluggo bucks. LSU -3 versus UCLA for 500 sluggo bucks. Myself, Ohio State -13.5 for 100 sluggo bucks. North Carolina State -18 versus South Florida for 200 sluggo bucks. And UNC -5.5 versus Virginia Tech for 100 sluggo bucks. Fellas, I took 3 favorites, and I took all chalk in the.
You're boring. You're boring.
Next week I'm just going to put pasty under my name. I'm put chalk under there because I took chalk the whole way through everything. I took the Heisman Trophy winner, who's everybody's favorite. I took a national champion who's in the top 4. Took all 4 playoff teams that that everybody thinks is going to make it. Boy, how boring! I got to come up with something better next week. At least find a better team. Bet on Montana Tech or.
Well, this was tough. Week 1, I wasn't sure what everyone was going to be betting. I know we had 10,000, so I know 1,000 was probably going to be a lot. But this is new, so this is new. We're going to find our way, and after I run out of 10,000 sluggo bucks next week, I can re-up, right? I can buy back again.
You can borrow some, but the interest may surprise you. Borrow some sluggo bucks.
You can go down into double digits. You can go into single digits for your bets if you want to.
Yeah.
Oh, Casey has a fan. Michael Kane says he loves that Rutgers bet.
Fellow Jersey boy living in the Pacific Northwest now, so appreciate you watching, pal.
But
I love we get to figure this one out tomorrow night. It's just right off
I have 2 games tomorrow night.
Hey, we're gonna know what's going on.
No doubt. Guess what? I'm done by Friday about 9:00 my time.
You are too. Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday, Clemson-Georgia. I'm gonna take some of my sluggo bucks that I won, go down to the store and get me another 18-pack of Shiner Box. But Casey, you're right. Right. The first week, you never know. You don't know the teams. You haven't seen anybody play, especially after last year. So you're really just kind of blind. You're going on blind faith. I mean, you're just saying, okay, he's a good coach. Oh, they got a good quarterback. Except for Nebraska, we know
Rutgers,
South Carolina.
Yeah. That's another thing we could talk about real quick. The South Carolina quarterback, it's not as bad as people are making it out to be, right? Is he Trevor Lawrence? No. But the guy played quarterback last spring. It's not like he's, a 258-pound, 5'7" GA for the offensive line. He threw for 720 yards and whatever it was, 7 touchdowns at Iowa State. This is not the same as, Tony Elliott putting on the pads and going out there and playing. So
But I think that the point is they're going from the Big 12 there, where everybody's passing, to now this vaunted SEC. I mean, they're playing who? Eastern Illinois to start the year.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be okay week 2 for that game, and then week 2 I think is ECU. So they're not even getting into the SEC for a couple of weeks. So maybe they get healthy. Luke Doty gets healthy over that time period.
You know, it'd be a good bet over under the number of passes they have to throw against Eastern Illinois. They could just play. They could go to Army Navy on us and throw 3 passes in.
Especially with their 2 running backs that they're going to throw out there too. Kevin, what is his last name? Kevin and Marshawn Lloyd are really Kevin Harris and Marshawn Lloyd are very, very talented running backs. Harris won the SEC rushing title last year.
I prefer if you just call him Kevin. Makes him.
It's just Kevin.
Y'all are
We're on first name basis.
y'all are bros.
I call him Kev.
Kev. K-Dog. K-Dog. What you going to do, K-Dog? All right, fellas. That first week, like I said, who knows what's going to happen out of this Sluggo Bucks thing. Beef is either going to have a huge lead or not.
The odds are good that it won't be a lead.
I will not be pulling for Rutgers on Saturday. Let me just put it that way.
Can we bet on your bets? Is that a thing?
And before I put this away, this is what we're playing for.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the Intercontinental Champion Sluggo Podcast Belt, $295 at Amazon.com. You can get 40 of them if you want. But we're playing for this. Whoever has the most Sluggo Bucks at the end of the year ends up with this. I kept the box it came in so I can ship it off to myself when I win. Title. Zach Locks Parker, appreciate your time tonight.
Absolutely.
Casey
Thank
DeBeat
you.
Cregan, are you going to tell the folks good night?
Yes, thanks to everyone in the Facebook group, especially Nelson Wilhite for all his help and support, everyone on Seldom News Reserve, Sluggo Podcast, and each and every one of you who listens, likes, shares, and participates, including the Bishop Sycamore football team. On behalf of Zach Locks Parker and Marty, Seldom News Reserve Coleman, I am Casey DeBeat Cregan. Thanks so much for joining us in this week's episode of Sluggo. We'll see you next week right here. A lot to talk about next week.
Absolutely.
Squirrels.
I think we're done here.